Imagine a laborer who works every day on an empty stomach, who has no bread in his house, and who has very few clothes to wear. A man who could never even dream that one day he would become even richer than the president of his country. This is the story of William, an ordinary laborer, who never thought that one day he would become wealthier than his country's president. How he found the treasure map, how he reached the treasure, and what kind of struggles and storms were waiting for him along the way, and finally, how his life changed. We will show you all of this in this video. In a corner of the city, there was a small hut. In this hut lived William, a poor laborer. Every morning, he would wake up in the dark, take a pickaxe in his hand, and set out for labor. His wife, Amelia, was a frail but patient woman, and their young son, Liam, had dreams in his eyes, but his stomach was often empty. Sometimes it would happen that there was only water in the house, and all three would go to sleep hungry. Liam would ask his mother, "Mom, is there no food today?" Amelia would hide the tears in her eyes and say, "Son, there will surely be some tomorrow." One day, William went to work as usual. He was digging the ground. His sweat was mixing with the soil. Suddenly, his pickaxe hit something hard. William cleared the dirt. An old piece of paper emerged from there. It was a treasure map. His hands began to tremble. A spark appeared in his eyes. His heart started beating loudly. He left his work right there, pressed the map to his chest, and ran toward his home, as if the fate of his life was about to change. The next morning after dawn, William looked at the map again. He looked toward his wife and son. Amelia said only this, "Have faith in God." William took out his broken-down bicycle. The cycle was old. It made a sound as if it would break with every breath. But William's resolve was strong. He set out on the journey. The path was long. The sun was getting hotter, and the cycle was stopping and starting intermittently. After a while, an old mansion appeared on the way. Near the mansion, a river was flowing. According to the map, the path ahead went through the water. William looked around. A small boat was tied there. He gathered his courage and loaded his bicycle onto the boat. The boat slowly began to move forward in the river. Clouds began to gather in the sky. The wind grew strong. Suddenly, a storm arrived, cloud with tornado hash. The boat began to rock. Water was entering the boat. William gripped the cycle tightly. There was only one thought in his heart: just let this journey be completed, so my son doesn't have to sleep hungry. Lightning flashed. The heart trembled with the roar of the clouds. The boat was in the middle of the storm, and a dark path ahead was waiting. On the morning of the third day, the storm had subsided. The boat finally reached the dry land. William kissed the ground, as if he had found life again. He immediately unloaded his bicycle. But when he tried to start the cycle, a sound came, and the cycle went completely silent. He tried to ride the cycle again and again. Sweat began to pour, but the cycle did not support him. William looked back. As far as the eye could see, there was only desert. No path, no human. Out of necessity, he left his cycle there alone, and taking the map in his hand, he started walking toward the desert on foot. The sun was raining fire. His lips had dried up. His feet felt like they were burning. Suddenly, some horses were seen in the distance, and then some bandits appeared in front of him. There was harshness on their faces, weapons in their hands, greed in their eyes. William couldn't even speak. The bandits captured him. They snatched the map from his hand. One laughed and said, "It seems luck has brought us here." William's hands were tied, and they took him away, by force. In the middle of the desert silence, William had only one thought: "Oh God, what will happen to my family?" The bandits tied William's hands and feet, and threw him into a corner of the desert, while they themselves set off toward the location of the treasure. William was lying on the dirt, hands tied, but his mind was alive. With a sharp stone lying on the ground, he began to slowly rub the rope. His hands became wounded. But finally, the rope broke. As soon as he got his freedom, William started following the bandits from a distance. Hiding and sneaking, he also reached the same spot, where the treasure was buried according to the map. As soon as William moved forward, the bandits' eyes fell on him. How is he still alive? One bandit screamed. He didn't even get a chance to say anything. The bandits together gave him a hard shove, and he fell into a place filled with mud. His entire body was covered in mud. Clothes, face, hands, everything. The bandits began to laugh and started digging for the treasure themselves. Suddenly, cracking was heard, and from that very spot, a massive snake emerged. The bandits began to scream. They didn't even get a chance to run. The snake, one by one, swallowed all the bandits. William lay in the mud, holding his breath completely still. The snake kept looking toward him too. But then it turned its head away. Maybe because of the mud. Maybe because of fate. After some time, only silence remained there. William slowly stood up, covered in mud. But alive, in front of his eyes, was still that same spot, where the treasure was buried. William cleaned the mud. His hands were trembling, but his courage was firm. He picked up the pickaxe and started digging the ground in the spot where the map was pointing. He removed the soil, then dug deeper. Sweat was dripping. Suddenly, the pickaxe hit something hard. William hurriedly cleared the dirt, and then a very large chest appeared from beneath the ground. He opened the lid of the chest. Inside was gold, silver, precious jewels, and a shining royal crown. Tears came to William's eyes. He was laughing, and he was crying. He looked toward the sky and said, "Oh God, this is the reward for patience." He remembered his wife, Amelia. He remembered little Liam, who used to sleep on an empty stomach. Today, for the first time, there was a smile of peace on William's face. In his heart, there was only one joy. Now my family will not sleep hungry. In the middle of the desert, William, covered in mud and dirt, had become rich from the heart. The next morning, Amelia was standing at the door of her house. Little Liam was also with her. There was waiting in the eyes of both, and fear in their hearts. The path was completely silent. Even the wind seemed to have stopped. Far, far away, no one was visible. Liam said in a low voice, "Mom, when will Dad come?" Amelia placed her hand on her son's head, but she had no answer. Just then, a shadow appeared in the distance. Slowly, that shadow began to come closer. When it came a bit closer, it was visible that there was a chest on his shoulder, wrapped in a cloth. The man looked exhausted. His clothes were covered in dirt. But in his gait, there was a different kind of confidence. Amelia's heart began to beat fast. Liam opened his eyes wide to look, and as he came closer and closer, Amelia's lips trembled. Is this William?" And that man was walking toward the house. The man finally reached the door of the house. Amelia went close and looked. Tears flowed from her eyes. William nodded with a tired smile. Liam, screaming with joy, hugged his father. William took the chest off his shoulder and set it down. As it was placed on the ground, it settled with a soft thud. Amelia asked anxiously, "What is this?" William said softly, "Our destiny." He removed the cloth, opened the lid of the chest, and then Amelia's eyes lit up. Inside was gold, silver, precious jewels, and that shining crown. Liam clapped his hands with joy. Amelia's tears would not stop. William said, "Now we will never sleep hungry." In that little hut, where there was once silence and hunger, today there was hope, peace, and happiness. Patience, hard work, and faith never go to waste. The person who does not lose courage even in hunger, pain, and trials, fate eventually stands by them. Please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.